Hello, and welcome to Mapping Coordinates of Localities for Archival and Analytical Purposes. My name is Dr. Amy Smith. I am the Earth Sciences Collection Manager at the Perot Museum of Nature and Science. And I got there about 7 months ago, and as soon as I started working with field data. And our curator, when he brings stuff back, he has the GPS coordinates for them. And so I immediately designed and implemented this system where I back up those coordinates into Google Maps. So I'd like to give you an introduction to that today. But why bother? Why back it up into Google Maps? Well, first off, it's a redundant set of data. It's a redundant copy. It's always good to photocopy field notebooks. Why not make an extra digital copy that also presents the data in a more graphical, spatial way? This graphical spatial way can also be shared with other colleagues, other researchers, It also ends up in a file that you can export from Google Maps. They call it a .kml or .kmz file, essentially a file of the points you plot of your localities that can be exported. It's a standalone file, and it can be opened in things like Google Earth or really analytical programs like ArcGIS, which I'll mention at the end, but getting into that is way beyond the scope of this video. So first off, let's see how we can make a redundant copy of our localities in Google Maps first. I mean, it's free, it's accessible to everyone with internet, and it's pretty darn easy to learn. So, a nice gradual learning curve should get you right going there. Let's take a look. Up in the corner, we have 4 localities, all fictional, with their GPS coordinates. The coordinates are in the format of degrees and decimal minutes, so not in second format yet. So what we're going to do first is go on down and open Google. If you have a Google account, log in. This way you can save the maps that you make. And we can set the maps so that only you can access them. Now, clicking the search bar in Google Maps will generate the option to create your own. We have a brand new map. First, we can look at the selection of base maps. In other words, what are the continents and oceans going to look like? You have the basic road maps, political, boundaries, things like that. I myself prefer the satellite when I'm doing this. It really doesn't matter too much. What we're going to be exporting are the actual points, not the base map. But pick the map of your choice. And then we can change the title to be something more appropriate, such as the field season of this particular collection. Just something so we can go back in our records and find it again. You can add a description if you want, maybe give the range of dates that the objects were collected, anything like that. So now we want to input the GPS coordinates of the first locality. Well, here's the thing. Google Maps is actually very picky about the format that you put in GPS coordinates. And so if we just kind of copy and paste as is, it's not going to do anything for us. So we are going to have to translate it. And this Montana State University site has been a huge help to me my entire career at the Perot. I'm so glad they came up with this. You can take any sort of format that you originally have your coordinates in and input it into the fields, and it translates it into the decimal degrees, which is what Google wants. Now, right now we have decimal minutes. So we take the decimal portion, and in order to get the number of seconds, multiply that by 60. So 1.135 times 60 is 8.1. There's your seconds. We do it both for latitude and longitude. So 0.73 times 60 see here. It's going to equal 48.3 seconds. Click on the convert, and these decimal degrees is the format that you need to input into the search bar. So first the latitude, a comma, and then a space. Then just copy and paste the longitude. And hit enter or search. There is field number 15ACS2-16-1 in our fictional little collection here, of course. Click the point and add to map. It's not officially added until you click that add to map. And now it's added, but let's relabel it to something that makes a little bit more sense than just its locality or its location. I myself like to relabel these as the actual field number they represent. In the second box, you can put a description in there if you like. When you export the file, the description and the point label will export with it. And save those changes. So I provided an already finished copy of this map saved in my files online here, which shows all 4 localities. Zoom out, there we go. So the question is, we have these plotted. Where do we go from here? Well, you could add a layer, which means you could add more localities if you have a second field season. There are other options. You could share this map, which is one of the most useful things. And, you know, as far as security, until you change it, the map is totally private. So just be careful with your password and you'll be fine. But you can send your colleague, you know, who wants to know more about these localities, a link to it. And as long as that colleague has a copy of that link, they will see it, but you have to have a copy of the link to be able to see it. Now what I like the best is export to KML. You export it to a standalone file. It actually comes out as a star.kmz file. But it's basically a file that contains geographic data. So there we downloaded our KMZ file, even though it says KML. You can consider them roughly equivalent, at least for this purpose. So that's the basic procedure in plotting your points and then exporting them into their own file that can be imported into something like Google Earth, which is free. I urge you to give that a try as well. You could import it into ArcGIS programs. I myself use ArcMap, and it integrates tables and the spatial plotting of the points to do some pretty deep analyses on things that you may not have thought of. Like maybe, you know, you could do analyses on how far apart species are or individuals within a species or anything like that. But that's a really technical segue, so we'll save that another time. But I hope you give this Google Maps thing a try. You know, if you're nervous with it, just kind of use fake data or use this fake data. And I hope this helps. Thank you.